Hi, folks. I'm doing IXL linear function still. We're still in section S. Almost halfway there. S12 is solving for y in linear equations. So I suspect that we're going to get it in different form. We're going to get equations in different forms involving x's and y's, and we're going to get that y alone. So it's all about literal equations and solving for y. So let's get started. I did not preview it, so I don't know exactly what to expect. So let's take a look and see what we're going to do. All right, this is what we call point slope form. And if I were graphing this, point slope form is one of the best forms you can imagine. By the way, 110 is a solution to this equation. See if you can see why that's the case. When I read point slope form, I can read 110 is a solution because it zeroes out both sides. And the slope is -7 or -7/1 if you like. So I could literally graph this point and this slope and be done with it. Now, what a lot of people are interested in, for whatever reason, is they want to put it in slope-intercept form because for some strange reason, they think that it'll be easier to graph in that form. Or for whatever reason, they want it y equals so they can put it in a graphing utility. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and distribute the -7 to both parts, and we get y minus 10 is equal to -7x. And be very careful. It is so easy to make a mistake here. Plus 7, and I'm going to add 10 to both sides. I'm going to put all the steps here. And we get y is equal to -7x plus 17. I think that's, I didn't even read the question. In slope-intercept form. Yep, that's what I figured. So we solved for y. We have it now in slope-intercept form. And instead of going through the point 110, it's more obvious that I can go through the point 017, isn't it? But it still has the same slope. I want you to notice that 110 would also be a solution to this one, of course, because it's going to be the same equation. So anyway, there's a lot more information than you wanted. Y equals, what were we, -7x, 7x plus 17, and we have it in slope-intercept form. Not so bad. Same deal here. We've got, distribute that 1/3, and we get y, oh, good, I did it, y minus 8 is equal to 1/3 x. And when I multiply the 1/3 times the 9, I get 3. And I'm almost done. I'm going to add 8 to both sides. And I get y is equal to 1/3 x plus 11. 0, 11, and a slope of 1/3. Or in the case here, if I have it in point slope form, I can read the point, a solution, by zeroing out the x's by putting in -9 and zeroing out the y by putting in 8. And of course, the slope is 1/3. Just wanted to add a little extra to it. So anyway, it is y equals 1/3 x plus 11. Again, point slope form. See if you can figure out what the point is that zeroes out this point slope form. I'm going to go ahead and distribute my 8. I'm going to have y minus 2 is equal to 8x plus 16. I distributed the 8 to both parts. That is distributive property of multiplication over addition. And I add 2 to both sides, and I get 8x plus 18. So there's my equation. If you hopefully noticed that 0, 18 is the obvious solution to this one, that's the y-intercept, and a slope of 8. If you wanted the solution for this one, the point slope solution, it would be -2, 2 with a slope of 8. Either one will be just as easy to graph for me. I'm going to put it in. Y equals -8x, it looks like. No, positive 8x, can't see it anymore, plus 18. And looks like we're done. I'm gonna write it up a little higher this time. So this time it's in point slope form, and I hope you'll try and try it out yourself. This is y minus 1 is equal to 9x minus 72. We're going to add 1 to both sides, and we're going to get the y equals 9x minus 71. So there's our point slope form, or sorry, slope intercept form. Here's our point slope form. Notice you're going to have one hell of a time graphing this on a regular graph paper, but notice that this one, this point slope form, is easy to graph. It's going to go through the point 81 and have a slope of 9. This one is going to go through the point 0, negative 71 and have a slope of 9, but I would say it's much easier to graph the point slope form. So we've got y equals 9x. Oh, here's another problem. If I put this, it's going to count it wrong. And the reason is because that negative 71 is the program is going to consider it being written next to the 9x. So you have to put a space in there. Whenever you have subtraction, make sure you include the space. Okay, guys? Looks like everything's good. There we go. We're going to distribute the 3. We have y plus 5 is equal to 3x minus 9. And we're going to subtract 5, and we get our equation. Y is equal to 3x minus 14. Another space. Very important to space those subtractions out. Same thing. Y plus 1 is equal to 1/5 x. It's really easy to forget after you multiply the 1/5 times the x and just put the plus 10. It's just so easy to make that mistake. So I like to write the arrows. 1/5 times 10 is plus 2, and we're going to subtract the 1 from both sides and get our equation. Y is equal to 1/5 x plus 1. I just subtracted 1 from both sides. And in this case, you don't have to spread out your addition, but you can. It's not wrong. All right, we distribute the 8. Y plus 9 is equal to 8x minus 32. And we're going to subtract 9 from both sides and get y is equal to 8x minus 41. Looks like we're done. Need to put the space. You will forget, I promise. I've done it so many times. And we're going to distribute the 1/7. We get y plus 2. This is point slope form. 1/7 x. I guarantee you're going to forget. Minus 1. And then you're going to subtract the 2. And you're going to get y is equal to 1/7 x minus 3. And you're going to forget to spread out your subtraction. Don't forget that. So we have y equals 1/7x space minus 3, space 3. There we go. Looks like it's spread out now. And we're getting there. Distribute the negative 5, and we get y minus, oops, dang it. Y minus 4 is equal to negative 5x minus 25. And we're going to add the 4 to both sides, and we get y is equal to negative 5x minus 21. I just added 4 to both sides. And that is a minus there. There we go. Y equals negative 5x space minus space 21. Distribute the negative 9. We get y plus 5 is equal to negative 9x plus 45. Should be pretty good at this by now. Y is equal to negative 9x plus 40. And we're done. If I were doing this for myself, I'd probably do it in my head, but I'm going to go ahead and write it. This is one of the forms that standard form takes. Standard form is usually written like this. AX plus BY is equal to C, but in this particular case, they subtracted the C from both sides, and they wrote it, instead of that way, they wrote ax plus by minus c equals 0, which is the same thing, as you can see. This is one version of standard form. This is another version of standard form. I actually prefer the first version, ax plus by equals c. In this particular case, of course, we're going to solve for y. So we need to add the 11x. And I'm going to go ahead and put all the work down here for you. 11x plus 17y plus 3 equals 0. We are going to, of course, add the 11x to both sides. And I'm also going to have to subtract the 3 from both sides. So I'm going to go ahead and do both steps at the same time because I want to get that y alone. 17y is equal to 11x minus 3. And we're going to divide by 17. And the trick here is to divide all the terms by 17 instead of putting a long division line and then separating out your fractions, because it'll be a common denominator. Some people will write this, and then they'll separate out their fractions. I generally don't do that. I separate them out from the very beginning. And I just simply say, I'm going to divide 17 into all the terms. That's going to be 11 over 17x minus 3 over 17. And that would be in slope-intercept form. So we'll write it out. Y equals 11 over 17 x, and then we do need a space. Don't forget that minus is going to mess you up. And then we have 3 over 17. I don't think it's going to have any problems. I don't see any parentheses available. A lot of times you're going to need to put parentheses around both of those fractions for it to work. Let me get rid of my dot that I made there so you can see it better. I wrote 11 over 17 x, spaced out my subtraction, minus 3 over 17. And that looks like it's fine. And what are we going to do next? Now, this is normal standard form. This is what we call standard form. Ax plus by equals c. This is especially useful in a thing called linear algebra. When you guys start solving systems, this is especially helpful for solving systems. I don't know what happened to my, there we go. That form is ax plus by equals c, which is very useful for what we call linear programming. Sometimes it's called linear algebra. It's for solving systems. And this is a very nice form to have. Now, of course, to solve this for y is really easy. We're going to subtract 19x from both sides, and we're going to get y equals negative 19x minus 2. It's not wrong to put the negative 2 minus 19x. It doesn't matter, but we kind of like it in slope-intercept form. Might as well put it in order. So we have y equals negative 19x. We do need a space, minus 2. And we need to space it out a little bit. Oh, looks like we're in point slope form again, going through 1, negative 1, and has a slope of 5/8. I can read it just so easily. All I have to do is zero out that x value and zero out my y value, because that makes 0 equals 0. And it makes it true. All we have to do is find a solution that makes this true. This is called point slope form. And the slope is equal to 5/8. And I can graph this. I can have a solution. I have lots of information from there. Of course, we're going to distribute our 5/8. We get y plus 1 is equal to 5/8 times x minus 5/8. God, I sure hope I'm recording. I think I am. And the last step is to subtract the 1. Now, a lot of people are going to have trouble with this. Do not put negative 1 and 5/8, because you're not, if you put that into your IXL answer bar, you'll get it wrong. It's going to be 5/8x, and we do want an improper fraction. This is minus 1, which is really 8 over 8, isn't it? And that's minus 13 over 8. Okay? And looks like we get, oh man, I can't read it. I need to be able to read it. Let me go ahead and write it up here. Hang on, let me just go back here. y equals 5/8 x minus 13 over 8. For whatever reason, I can't seem to remember long enough to get it done. So there we go. All right, I've got, keep doing that. I don't want to have that dot in there. All right, so we've got 5/8 x minus 13 over 8. Oops. Oh no, it's going to count it wrong. I forgot to space it. Remember I told you, you're going to forget. Dang, I sure did it. All right, all of that, and I forgot. Okay, so y plus 9 is equal to 1/6 x minus 1. We subtract the 9 and we get y equals 1/6 x minus 10. Space that damn subtraction out. So, and I'm not going to worry about my dot. Y equals 1/6 x space minus space 10. Squirrel cheer for that one. All right, distribute your 4/5, and we get y plus 4 is equal to 4/5 x. When you multiply 4/5 times 10, you get 8. If you need to do the work on the side, go ahead. Subtract the 4 from both sides, and we get y equals 4/5 x plus 4. I just subtracted the 4 from both sides. Don't have to space out the addition. Might be a good plan, just so you don't forget to do the subtraction. Standard form again. Now this one is a little more complex because we're going to need to subtract the 20x from both sides. So I'm going to get negative 15y is equal to negative 20x plus 4. Now I do two things. I subtract the 20x from both sides or add a negative 20x. Adding a negative 20x is actually more appropriate because I can't turn subtraction around, or in other words, subtraction's not commutative, but addition is. That's why adding a negative 20x is more appropriate. Now I'm going to divide everything by negative 15. It is really easy to forget the negative right there. So I'm going to divide by negative 15, and I'm going to do it into all the terms. And this has to be reduced. So I have y is equal to, this is going to be 4 over 3. I'm dividing by negative 5 on the numerator and denominator. And my minus 4 over 15, I prefer to write it with a straightforward division line. Now the reason is because it's less ambiguous, but I can put it into the, so I can put it into the answer bar this way. 4 over 3x space minus space 4 over 15. Don't want to forget to space it out. Okay, so this one is in that other weird standard form. So we're going to get y by itself. So I'm going to have 10y all alone. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract the 15x, which is going to give me negative 15x, and I'm going to subtract the 1 from both sides. Now I'm going to divide every term by 10, and y is going to equal negative 3 over 2x, I divided by 5 in the numerator and denominator, minus 1/10. So it looks like we get y equals negative 3 over 2x space minus 1 over 10. Okay, distribute 1/8. You get y minus 2 is equal to 1/8 x minus 1. And we're going to add the 2 to both sides, and we get y equals 1/8 x plus 1. Some people are going to want to insist on putting decimals in here. Now, decimals are fine as long as they end. If they're a repeating decimal like 1/9 or 11 over, I don't know, 11 over 33 or 1/3, some repeating decimal, you can only estimate it. So it's probably better not to use decimals. It's probably better to use the fractions or rational numbers. Y equals 1 over 8x, and we just have a plus 1. In this one, we're going to solve for y, so I'm going to get 6y alone. I'm going to have negative 11x minus 7, and I'm going to divide everything by 6. This is one of those cases where you have that repeating decimal. Negative 11 over 6 is negative 1.833333333 forever. And this one is negative 1.166666666 forever. So it can get really, really ugly. I prefer to write it as negative 11 over 6x minus 7 over 6. It's just fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Y equals negative 11 over 6x. Don't forget the space. And we've got 7 over 6. And yeah, it's an improper fraction. But like I said, if you were to write this as a decimal, it would look like negative 1.16666 and so on. It's really ugly. We don't want to do that. Okay, this is our weird looking standard form, but it's on the wrong side. It doesn't, not wrong side. If we want to switch this, it has a name. It's called the symmetric property of equality. It's almost like the commutative property of equality, but there is no such thing. This is called the symmetric property of equality. It says if A equals B, then B equals A. And it's kind of a duh, Ralph. Anyway, I am going to add 3y to both sides. And I think you'll see why this is probably by far and away the easiest steps to follow. Now, I'm being a little bit creative because normally we like to do the opposite. We like to subtract the 15x and subtract the 18 from both sides. But in this case, I saved a step by adding the 3y to both sides. See if you can see why I did that. And now we're going to divide everything by 3. Here's the problem with putting a common denominator like this. Instead of separating it out into common denominators, you're going to be tempted to cancel this 3 with the 18 or the 3 with the 15. But the 3 is actually under both of these fractions. So my recommendation is not to do this. Put the 3 under all the terms, because that's more, it'll prevent that problem. So that's going to be 5x plus 6, and we're done. And we have just a few more. We're going to distribute the 4/5 to both parts. We get y plus 9 is equal to 4/5 x. And when we take the 4/5 times the negative 5, it's going to give us minus 4, isn't it? Take a look and see if you need to write it on the side. Go ahead. We're going to subtract 9 from both sides and get y equals 4/5 x minus 13. Sorry, it's an ugly looking 13. There we go, sort of. There it is. So we have y equals 4/5 x space minus space 13. I almost forgot again. Get to talking and worrying about people coming in to bother me. All right, so we have challenge zone. We are going to distribute our 1/6 to both parts, of course. That's going to give us y plus 7 is equal to 1/6 x minus 1. And we're going to subtract the 7 from both sides. Y is equal to, sorry, it's kind of, my handwriting's deteriorating here, minus 8. Don't forget the spaces. So we have y equals 1/6x space. Oh, damn it. I said space, not submit. Oh, well. Now I got to start again. Oh, well, there it is. Y plus 5. I'm kind of keeping an eye on the door because somebody's going to come in any minute here. I'm going to multiply the 9/2 times the minus 6. Now, a lot of people are going to multiply the 54 and then divide by 2, which is 27. But it's probably easier to simplify the 2 with the 6 and then multiply by the 9. So either way, 3 times 9 is 27. And I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides, and I get 9/2 x minus 33, huh? No, 32. Can't subtract today. I subtracted 5 from both sides. And we have y equals 9/2 x space minus space 32. There we go. Okay, we've got standard form. It's on the wrong side, so to speak, but I'm going to go ahead and subtract the 5x and divide everything by negative 15. So I'm going to have negative 15y is by itself, and it's going to be equal to negative 5x plus 14. We're going to divide everything by negative 15. And again, separate it out. And we have y is equal to, this is going to be 1/3 x, and that's going to be minus 14 over 15. And we're almost done. We need to put it in. Y equals 1/3 x space minus space 14 over 15. I keep on emphasizing that because it's a little glitch in the program that's really irritating. Anyway, I think I've done more than enough. I'm going to finish it off right here. I hope you all will do it yourself. This is y minus 6 is equal to negative 10x plus 50. And we're going to add 6. So we're going to get y equals negative 10x plus 56. I'm going to go really fast. Maybe I'll get done. Y equals negative 10x plus 56. Don't have to put the spaces in for that one. This one's in standard form. We've got 15y is equal to negative 2x minus 14. I just subtracted 2x from both sides. I'm going to divide all the terms by 15. It's a minus, by the way. That's a negative right there. And we get y is equal to negative 2/15 x minus 14 over 15. My handwriting is really going to hell. So y equals negative 2 over 15 x, we need a space, minus 14 over 15. Looks good. Okay, we've got y minus 6 is equal to 9 over 8x plus 9. Those 8's canceled out. If you can't see that, go ahead and put it on the side. I'm going to add 6 to both sides. 9 over 8x, adding 6 can be plus 15. You're definitely going to be really good at this after this. Looks like they're going to make me do all 10 of them. So it looks like we have y plus 7 is equal to 1/2 x plus 4. And we're going to subtract 7 and get y equals 1/2 x minus 3. I could have put 0.5, but again, decimals or fractions are usually better than decimals, surprisingly enough. And we have our weird looking standard form. And again, I'm going to do that trick one more time. I'm just going to add the 11y because the whole point to the exercise is to get y by itself, get that y alone. So I have 11y is equal to 16x minus 17, and I'm going to divide all the terms by 11. And I'm done. I'm not even going to rewrite it. I'm going to write y equals 16 over 11 x space minus 17 over 11. And this is regular standard form. I get negative 6y is equal to negative 11x plus 6. We're going to divide by negative 6. And I'm going to go ahead and rewrite it. That's going to be positive 11 over 6x minus 1. So we have y equals 11 over 6x space minus space 1. Looks good. We're going to distribute the 10. So we have y plus 9 is equal to 10x plus 80. And we're going to subtract the 9 from both sides. We get y equals 10x plus 71. I could subtract the 3y. I think that's what I'm going to do. Minus 3y equals negative 13x plus 9. And we're going to divide everything by negative 3. It would have been just as easy to do it the other way, but that's 13 over 3x minus 3. I'll tell you, I'm not going to forget to space that subtraction out again. Hopefully, anyway. Negative 17y is equal to negative 6x minus 8. And we're going to divide everything by negative 17. We've got a lot of negatives going on here. They are going to cancel out. Y is equal to positive 6 over 17x. When you have a negative divided by a negative, you get a positive. And I have an 8/17 over there. So it looks like we have y equals 6 over 17x plus 8 over 17. I hope I don't make any errors now with one more to go. Come on. And one final one. Boy, that was a long one. Sorry, guys. I can see why it gets really discouraging sometimes if you mess one up, especially when it's a program glitch. Plus 7 over 9. Looks like they're going to make me work for it. Adding 1 is really 9 over 9. 1 is 9 over 9. I added 1 to both sides, and I get 1/9 x plus 16 over 9. And that's our last one. I'll make it neat. Y equals 1 over 9x plus 16 over 9. I hope you all will do it yourself, and I'll see you back again. Bye, guys.